Hey guys, Robin here, and I am in this dark, dank, spooky attic to review for this week's Wednesday review. Now, today's review, is a first for this channel, because not only is because today's movie is a silent film from 1922. And that movie is the legendary Nosferatu. Yes, this is one of the very first horror movies. Well, not one of the very first. But this is the oldest surviving adaptation of Bram Stoker's Dracula. Now, this is an unofficial adaptation, and because of that, they had to change. Bram Stoker's widow threatened to sue, and they changed, and in an effort to avoid a lawsuit, they changed the names around. Jonathan Harker's name was changed to Hutter, Renfield's name was changed to Knock, and Dracula's name was changed, and the name of Count Dracula was changed to Count Orlok. Now, I do have some issues with the film, but those issues are less with the film itself and more with how films were made back then, because this isn't the first horror film. In fact, you could trace the very first horror film all the way back to 1896, when movies were practically a new thing, which while even in 1922, movies were still kind of a new thing. Yeah, but the two previous adaptations of Dracula, well, one of them is a lost Hungarian Dracula film called Dracula's Death, which is quite fitting considering that Hungary is the birthplace of Bela Lugosi, who was the who gave us a modern look of the vampire. Now, the plot of Nosferatu is there's a plague that hits a small town and people are falling ill and dying, and Dracula wants to buy a property there in London, and well, to be honest, there's really not like a whole lot to say plot wise. I mean, it's basically almost the same as like any other like Dracula adaptation. But aside from the differences, aside from this being an unofficial adaptation and having the name change, there's really not like a whole lot I can say about it. This movie does have like a score which is really good, really good. Kind of like, it doesn't sound like, not kind of quite like that. It's just like a musical score. But there is like a bit where the picture shimmers and it goes up a bit, like the top of the screen kind of comes like the top of the screen kind of comes like it's at the bottom a little bit before it like stabilizes. Now, since this is like a silent film, there was no like microphone. There was no microphone to pick up sounds, so they had. So when a character is sad, they can't just be like that. They have to like basically like do this like that, like that. And if characters matter, and if a character's like angry, they're like ooh, like that, like ooh, like that. So they had to really like ham it up and like overreact. Now, prior to Nosferatu, I did mention there were two Dracula films. There were two Dracula films prior, one of them being Dracula's Death, and the other one, uh, the other one was, the other one was, now, the only, now the very first adaptation of Dracula is said to have been made in Russia in 1920, but no copies of it exist. But no record, but no like copies exist anymore. Not a poster, not even stills, nothing. The only indicator of its existence is in this book. The Vampire Book, the Encyclopedia of the Undead, and and um right here in this little book, like right here, yeah, Dracula, 1920, made in Russia. The first film based on Bram Stoker's Dracula. No known copies survive. Now, like, now, now, like, oh my god. Okay. Now, like, that is like the only like record I've ever found of that film, and who knows, like it might not even be real, might just be made up. Now back to Nosferatu. Now every Dracula adaptation has a different way of killing the vampire. By the way, spoiler alert: if when I go like this, that's when spoilers are done, are over. So so when I so mute now, and when I wave like this, it's safe to unmute. Okay, so to those of you that have muted, every Dracula adaptation kills Dracula in a different way. Now, in the actual book, he was killed by knives, one to the heart and one to the throat. Um, Now, most of them have Dracula being staked in his coffin. Others have him being burned to death by a cross. The Satanic Rites of Dracula has him being killed by a hawthorn bush, which the thorn from a hawthorn bush, which was apparently used to make Jesus Christ's crown of thorns. And Nosferatu, as well as the Hammer Dracula adaptation, have him being killed by sunlight. Now, in Nosferatu, we kind of see him like fade away. Yeah, like that kind of. He fades away. Um, okay, that's it for spoilers. So, okay, now that those who muted are back, Dracula killed. Now, Dracula death. Compared to the other adaptations, it's kind of a letdown, but it was something that they had to do due to how movies were made, and you couldn't exactly show like a graphic vampire death. Like in Fright Night, you couldn't have like you couldn't shoot the vampire a bunch and then burn him with sunlight. So now Nosferatu actually did get a remake in 1979 with Klaus Kinski as Count Orlok. Now, yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about Dracula and the earlier adaptations. So, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all soon. And I'll see you all on Sunday for Sci-Fi Sundays. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all soon in the near future. Peace.